Vanakkam. Today I am going to cover a very important area in bank audit. Whenever you enter into the bank, you will ask for the loan document verification. So every loan document verification is very much important because for each and every category of loan, documentation of various categories are there. Now I am going to go step by step in the documentation aspect. First, you should know what is document. It's a written document, and the documents are being written in letters and words. And in case anything goes wrong, you can file before court of law based on this document. So this is the document based on which loan is being sanctioned. That is, after sanction of the loan, the banker, they have to get the signature in these documents. All these documents have been prescribed by the respective bank's head office, and it stood as evidence as contracts. So it stood as a contract between bankers and customers. So this is the starting point, because though the customer has applied for the loan, the manager has sanctioned the loan, but document is the starting point. Before disbursement of loan or at the time of disbursement of loan, the bank has to get the signature on all the documents with reference to loan sanction. It's a contract between bankers and customers. So this is a base based on which loan is being sanctioned. Then these documents are legally enforceable in case there is any defect, or in case there is any difference of opinion among the customer and between the customer and the banker, and in case that loan has gone bad, in order to file case before court of law, this document is the base document. So everyone has to be very careful. Being an auditor, you have to be very careful in verifying all those documents. Application is the starting point. So the documentation, application is the starting point. From there only everything is the being sanctioned. So based on the application only, this documentation part starts. So it applicable for both advances and to the depositors. Both the advances, for the deposits also it is a base. So all are documents with reference to advances and deposits. But here I want to say one difference. What is the difference between advance and loans? Advance is for a shorter period, say for 1 year, but for loans it is for a longer period. Even for 1 year also loans are they are saying, they can say that it's a loan, but normally we used to discuss what is loans and advances. Advance is for 1 year or less, and loans are for more than 1 year. This is a difference you have to bear in mind. Bankers, they must know that the documents are the basic legal documents. This is all the legal position about the document. The manager, the banker, they should know. So the banker should take all precautions before lending a loan based on the document. So the document should be the base based on which loans have been dispersed. So why we need these documents? This is because in order to create a charge, document is the base. So first the documents are the base based on which the charge against the property, charge against the company, charge against the business, charge against the stock, charge against the debtors, everything is created. So document is the base to create a charge on everything. And these documents are legally enforceable before any court of law. So this is a thing you have to bear in mind, and these documents can be used for the purpose of money suit. So these documents can be used only for the recovery, only to get the recovery of loan in case of default. These documents are the base to file a money suit against the borrower. And what is the need and importance of the documents? It identifies, the document identifies who is the borrower. who is the guarantor. All details will be there. Who is the borrower? Suppose there are three persons, they will write all three persons. And overall guarantors, there are two guarantors, they will write all two guarantors. And what is the security that is being given to while the loan? That is also mentioned in the document. And the quantum of loan sanction, what is the amount of loan sanction, that is also being stated in the documents. And it's a written document, and it is not disputed in future, because if anything the banker they are giving, it should be in writing. And if anything goes wrong, the borrower, he may not say that I have not signed the papers. So it is the base based on which the loans have been disbursed. It's a written evidence and need not be and should not be disputed in future. And besides, it's a documentary evidence before any court of law. Why I am saying it's a documentary evidence? Because all the borrowers, they have executed the document because they have availed the loan. They say that I have availed the loan, this amount of loan, I am the borrower. So it's a documentary evidence. Suppose if anything goes wrong, these documents will be useful. If anything goes wrong, then only these documents will be useful. Then it's a documentary evidence before any court of law. And it records the events on today, on this date, I have borrowed this much of amount on this condition, and I have given the security. Everything is recorded in the documents. So it is recording of documents, is recording of events that is there in the document, and it incorporates all protective class. All the protective class normally almost 90% is in favor of the bank and 10% in favor of the customer. So because the customer they may go at any time, but pay this amount of penal interest. So everything is there in the document. It acts as, these documents act as protective class between the bankers and the customers, and it also forms a money suit based on which everything is being recovered. Based on these documents, the bankers they have to file before court of law to get the money back, and the period of limitation is being decided based on the date written on the document. So it also decides the period of limitation. So that is also there. So that is why the documents are needed. And what is the importance of documents? So the banker, every banker has got different format for each and every type of loan. And all the banks head office, they have given the prescribed format about for term loan, for CC, for asset and liabilities, everything there will be prescribed document given by the head office. The banker, in order to safeguard the interest of the bank's funds, because it is very much important, they have to take the signature in the proper format. And then after the banker has taken the proper format, then that form should be properly stamped. It should be properly stamped. Then after that, the form has to be filled as per the sanction letter. Whenever you are going for the audit, please see that those forms have been filled with the terms and conditions mentioned in the sanction letter. Sometimes the banker may say that the document is valid for 50 lakhs, but the loan would have been sanctioned for 60 lakhs. So you have to compare those amounts. You have to take the sanction letter and read the sanction letter properly. From there, whether everything is recorded in the document properly or not, that you have to go through. So also you have to fill it up properly. Then after filling up, the borrower has to sign or execute the document. Then after that, those documents have to be checked by the manager, and everywhere properly the manager they have to check the documents. Then those documents have to be vetted by the bank's advocate. Vetting means that is those documents, that is the bank has obtained all the documents as per the head office norms. All documents have been properly signed as per the terms and conditions. The legal advisor, the panel advocate, is giving opinion that the documents are in order or not. Then he has to record everything in the document. Then these documents you have to go and register before registrar of, in some cases registrar of companies, and some cases sub registrar office. Then this is another thing. Then after that, their bank has to collect the document charges. The bank has to collect the document charges because the bankers, they are putting the they are affixing the stamp. Their printing cost, everything has to be recovered. So they have to collect the document charges as per the sanction letter. They have to collect. Then after that, proper form taken, stamped, filling up, signing up, and everything. After that, those documents have to be kept safely. So those documents you have to keep very safely because that is the base based on which the loan is sanctioned. So those documents have to be kept safely. Then the manager has to see that those documents are alive. What is alive? That is from the time borrowing angle, the manager has to see. So those documents have to be seen whether all documents are alive or not. Then what are the precaution that the bank has to take before before handling the documents? That is, the bank has to attain full set of documents. The bank has to obtain full set of documents, and everything have to be filled properly. No blank document should be there. If there is any blank document without filling up, the bank would have got the signature based on the blank document. Based on the signature, they would have released the loan, but they have forgotten to write the documents. If that is the case, then you have to give in your report stating that these documents have not been filled as per the head office now. Then in the documents, there is one column called schedule of properties. So the auditor has to see those schedule of properties have been filled correctly, and for that you have to refer the sanction letter. You refer the sanction letter, there will be description of property, whether those descriptions have been correctly entered in the schedule of the property, and then those documents have to be signed by the borrower, because filling the form is okay. Then after that, the borrower has to acknowledge that I have agreed to those terms and conditions. So those documents had to be signed by the borrower and guarantor personally, because there should not be any authorization. I'll ask my staff to sign in that manner. Also, in some cases, there will be incidents. He has given power to the manager. Whatever he signs, I will accept. So that should not be the case. In case of loan, the borrower, he has to come to the branch. Almost in all cases, they have to come to the branch and sign the document in the presence of the manager. The manager has to witness those signature, as well as the guarantor. He has to also come in person. What are the essentials of a documentation? So I'm going fast because what are the essentials of documentation? You have to see that correct name of the borrower is entered in the document. If there is omission of either A or B, or you spell wrongly, the document is invalid. You please see that what is the name mentioned in the sanction letter, and you compare that with the name written in the form. So the bank has to write the correct name. It is our duty to verify whether name is being mentioned. In one of my cases, I happen to see that documents, that PAN number is wrong. They omitted one letter. So the document which they have written is wrong. So if any incorrect name is written, then document is treated to be defective. Then there should be proper drafting. Proper drafting means everything should be in order. Everything should be properly filled. Then those documents have to be properly stamped. Based on the head office instructions, those documents have to be properly stamped. And they have to write the security properly. And you have to see the consideration amount. If the loan is sanctioned for 1 lakh, for 10 lakhs, in the documents they would have written as 1 lakh. So they are omitted to write 10. But words and figures also you have to see whether words and figure tallies or not. And those words and figures of the amount should be legible. The bank sometimes, for one time, they scribbles the figure, loan figure and the words figure. If that is the case, that those documents cannot be enforced before court of law. And you see that all the terms and conditions have been properly incorporated in the documents or not. And if there is any other terms, that also should be recorded. And in the document, whenever they execute the document, they have to write place and date. That is very, very important. Then, if it is not returned, then the document is said to be defective. Then, sometimes you have to go and register those documents. If that is the procedure, you have to see that whether proper registration about the document is done or not. Then, you have to see whether those documents are valid and legally enforceable. So valid means a minor should not execute the document. So you have to see whether those documents are legally valid and enforceable. This is a thing you have to see. Then before writing the document, you have to take, the manager has to take the proper care. Form should be properly filled. If there is any alteration, that should be countersigned by the borrower. Suppose if there is any correction, any alteration of figure, then everything has to be countersigned by the borrower. If there is no countersign, then the document is treated to be invalid. Those documents have to be executed in the presence of the officer. And the main thing you have to see whether the document is being returned by the same person and in the same ink. Legally, it is disputable. So documents have to be returned by the same person, same officer, and in the same ink. And you have to verify whether the borrower has put his full signature or not. They should not put initial. They have to put full signature. So this also you have to be very, very careful whether the borrower has affixed his full signature or whether the borrower has put his initial. If they put initial, then the document is a defective one. And date and place also have to be clearly mentioned. And the date of execution of the document should tally with the release of the first installment. There will be some 3 installments or 4 installments, but the date of document should be on the date on which first installment is being released. It should not be written after the release of the first installment. Then in that case, the first installment is not being supported by the document. Then please see that after the loan amount, say 5 lakhs, 5 lakhs only, that only should not be used. They have to write only 5 lakhs. And then they have to put hyphen and everything. But you have to see that 5 lakhs only, it should be in the words and not in the figures. So that should also be a very, very important thing they have to say. And if any power of attorney is given, you see that. So in order to get, in some cases, some borrower may be sitting in foreign countries, or sometimes due to age they are not able to come. So if they have given the power of attorney to execute the document, you see that all those power of attorney documents have been properly registered or not. Then everything should be written in the loan register. There is one register called loan register. You call for the loan register, you have to see that all the sanction terms and conditions have been written in the loan register properly. And you have to compare those loan register with the sanction letter. And at the time of executing the document, you have to get the signature of the borrower. In case the borrower is an illiterate person, then thumb impression will be obtained by the branch. If any thumb impression is being obtained, then that should be witnessed by another person. In case of women, normally the bankers, they are taking RTA, that is right thumb impression. In case of women, they are taking, in case of men, they are taking LTA, left thumb impression. So this is not a rule, but normally all bankers, they are taking, for illiterate women, they are taking right thumb impression. For illiterate men, they are taking LTA. this is a thing you have to see, and I'll see you in the next video, because documentation aspect needs more discussion. So I'll meet you in the next video. This is the end of my part one video on documentation, and I once again request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thanks for watching my video presentation. Thank you. Nandri Vanakkam.